Hello Galaxy, this is Irena and I am back again. We are talking about image versus identity. Last week we talked about image, and image basically is something that we project, what people think about us and what we want people to think about us. And that is the what. What do we do? And success, which we're going to talk about this week, or our definition of success, is the why. Why do we want to project this image? And it has to do with our definition of success, or why do we want to project an image that is not genuine to who we are? And so I want to talk about what we as a culture define as success. And I want to use this kind of story, this hypothetical situation, if you will. So just kind of hang with me for a little while. So, you want to be the tic-tac-toe champion of the world. So you practice your tic-tac-toe, and for those of you who don't know, it's pretty much a 9-space grid, and you try to get straight X's or straight O's, right? Like across, diagonal, that kind of way. So you start to practice, and you join this regional team. And you notice that everybody else is putting their X's in the corners, and they're like, oh, I won! And you're like, well, that's not really the rule. But you play with them long enough, and they begin to convince you that the rules are you put your X's in the corner, you put your O's in the corner, and then you're the winner. And so you start to practice, and you get really good, and you go up in your region, and you become the regional tic-tac-toe champion. So that qualifies you to go to the tic-tac-toe Olympics. And so you go there, and you start to play, and you are losing every game because you notice that everybody else is putting their X's and their O's in a straight line. And you ask somebody, well, why, what's going on? And they said, well, didn't you read the tic-tac-toe rule book, international rule book? And you're like, oh. And at that point you realize that what you had been doing the whole time was wrong, and which is why you're losing. And in the same way, I want to challenge you to, in some degree, life can be the same way. Life has a goal. There are rules to this life. But sometimes our culture can convince us that the rules are different than the actual rules of life. And so we begin to go along, and we exist in this culture that has rules that are completely opposite or not the same as the one who actually created the rules and created the world. And we wonder why we're losing. Let me suggest that perhaps it's because we are distracted. And it's not just us, it's not just our culture, it's historical, because the Bible records the things that can distract us from knowing God include riches and fame and the worries of this life. Think about what goes on in your life that causes you to be distracted, and you can figure out what it is that keeps people from consulting the tic-tac rule book of life. Hopefully we discover when the way that we are playing the game is not consistent with the rule book, we'll take the time to understand the rule book and adjust the way we play. And it can be the same thing in life. Once we understand that the rules that the culture is operating by are not consistent with the rules and the goal of life, hopefully we can take an assessment of what the actual rules are, and we can put those things in place in our life. And that is what Romans 12:1 says. So may I leave you with this thought? If you find yourself in the International Tic-Tac-Toe Olympics and you're losing because you have the wrong rules, take the time to find yourself a genuine international tic-tac-toe rule book. And if you find yourself losing in the game of life, take the time to find yourself the genuine